I was called to YouTube. Yes, you heard that correctly. God called me to YouTube. He did. Listen, I was minding my own business, doing whatever, multitasking or whatever it was I was doing. And in the middle of that, God tugged on my spirit and says for me to start a YouTube channel. And I was like, huh? A YouTube channel? That's not something that I'm trying to do. you know, I would never have thought to start a YouTube channel. And the reason why I chuckled a tad bit when he placed this in my spirit is because I'm an introvert. Let me back up. I like to introduce myself. My name is Dorothy. And over the last few months, God has been dealing with me about starting a YouTube channel. Now, I didn't act on it right away because I was a little, I'm going to just be, if I could just be transparent, I was a little apprehensive. I was a little apprehensive because I never thought about even starting a YouTube. I never even conceived the thought, has never even entered my mind about like getting before people, being able to share and do things of that nature. That was not in my spirit to do. Now, when God gave me this, I should say, this thought, when he placed it in my spirit to start YouTube, how many of us know that, as the word of God says, my sheep know my voice? Now, although I knew it was God, I yet and still was thinking to myself, me, Lord, like, and also I had a lot of different thoughts and, feelings that was racing through my mind and emotions and things of that nature. Because again, I'm an introvert. What do I have to say? What do I have to share? Like, who am I? And not even that, but getting through the idea of God dealing with me over a course of months. And although I knew that it was from God, I had to align myself up with what it is he wants me to do. Now, one thing about God is when he brings you to something, he will make sure that he brings you through it. He will equip me. So I had some other emotions, and I'll share some of those feelings I had about starting YouTube channel. And that was fear, or even just thoughts of what will people think? What will people say? And things of that nature. So God placed in my spirit that don't worry about the naysayers. Don't worry about the critics. Don't worry about the judgmental people. He will deal with them. So again, over the course of time, I had to wrap around the idea that, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then you show me what to do. Show me how to do this. And so he started revealing things to me and what to do and where to get started and that type thing. Now, am I where I really need to be with starting this YouTube channel? No, I'm not. But I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to go through what it is, because I notice how there are different things that you need to know that come along with YouTube. And, you need to know there's some things that, when it comes down to editing, where to film, how to film, that type thing, the things that are really, really important. And then even how to monetize, what happens, what do you do, or what will cause demonetizing, those type things. And so it was just really interesting for me, because when he put that in my spirit, placed it in my spirit for me to start a YouTube channel, of course, I was in my flesh. And, I had a little pushback. I was a little apprehensive because I was merely thinking about myself. I was merely thinking about what I can't do. And he was constantly showing me that he's already equipped me. He gave me what I needed. He's already given me the tools to start this YouTube. And, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, he's already given it to me. And I want to share with you all that when God brings you to something, he's going to make sure that he brings you through it. He doesn't bring you to something without preparing you. And see, God has started preparing me, I want to say maybe a little over a year, maybe a little over a year ago. So, okay, last year, 2024. So possibly about 2022, he has started preparing me for different things, in terms of being able to be before people. Now, that was another thing, getting over that. So I had, again, with my feelings of being in front of people, speaking in front of people, and just putting myself out there, for me, that actually wasn't as easy. Not as for some of you, it might be easy, but for some of us, we go through the challenges of putting ourselves out there, being transparent, being able to share and learn, being willing, having a willing heart to be exposed. And so God wants to bring some people to YouTube. He's using these platforms to bring some things out. Some of us are in shells. And so God is preparing us. He prepares us in so many different ways. And so how he started bringing me out of my shell is he placed in my spirit a year, I would say possibly in 2023, to start he started dealing with me with a TikTok platform. So he called me to TikTok. So I went to TikTok, and, I started having some fun over there. That's where, so I was having a little fun over in TikTok, and I was like, okay. So, I started feeling like, okay. So over the course of time, I was coming more and more out of my shell. Now, a lot of my videos are, well, yes, all of them actually are unscripted. And he took me that way for a reason. I believe he took me that way for YouTube. So as he was constantly dealing with me and pruning me and preparing me, I didn't realize that he was already equipped. He had equipped me. He equipped me before he even set me out on this journey. So my journey now is where I'm at now today. I accepted the calling. I was called to YouTube. And for many of you, you may have been called to YouTube as well. You may have been called to maybe other places, because not everyone is called to YouTube. But when he calls you to a place, I want you all to keep in mind that he will never call you to a place without preparing you for it. He will deal with the critics. He will deal with those who are judgmental. He will deal with those naysayers. He have you. He have you. He won't leave you. God will never leave you. He will never forsake you nor leave you. So it's no way that he will bring us to something and just leave us and desert us. So it's really important that if God has called you to YouTube, it's time now. This is your season. This is the time now. Now, I'm seeing a couple different things here on YouTube. I'm seeing, let's see. I'll name one person here, Dante London. Now, as God was dealing with me and brought me to YouTube, I says, okay, Lord, now what do I do? Now, what do I do? Now that you've called me to YouTube, now what? What do I do here? So he started showing me different things. He started lining things up, and he's still doing things in me and through me, and how he's bringing things to me. He's bringing information to me. And that's what God will start doing. He will start pouring into you and leading you and guiding you in the right direction. But he just wants us to be able to accept the assignment. That's what it's about. Accepting the assignment. The assignment may be YouTube for many of you. And if God has called you to this assignment, now we all may have, there may be a variation of assignments. But for many of you, God has called you to YouTube. That may be one of your assignments. And if he called you to YouTube, this is the hour, this is the time, this is the season now for you to align yourself up and touch base with God. Ask him, stay in his presence, get in his presence, and ask him, what is it you want me to do with this? You've called me to this, now what? Ask him. That's what he wants. He wants us to trust him. Trust him in the process. Now, back to what I was saying about Dante London. So I started looking up, not even just looking up, but just, it was really interesting because as God gave this to me in my spirit to start a YouTube channel, this was months and months ago. I mean, like early part of 2024. But I sat on it because I was like, okay, I just started doing other things, but God brought me back to it again. And how he brought it back to me again is because I was watching something one day and there was someone on and they said, it's time for you to start your YouTube channel. And that was confirmation. And I was like, well, I already knew that God had given me that in my spirit. But again, you know how we do. I got busy doing things that didn't even matter really. And he brought it back to me. And then after I seen it, then I saw it 2 more times after that again. So he confirmed what he already placed in me several times afterwards. So then I was like, okay, I can't be playing around. I can't play around anymore. It's time to get about God's business. It's time for me to do what I need to do to start this YouTube channel. And now I'm seeing how, and even now, I'm seeing more people on YouTube now. Look at this. Now they're talking even more about starting your YouTube channel. Like, what are you waiting for? Dante London is showing people now. So now he and many other people that I wouldn't name, but right now, just for the sake of time here, they're saying it's a trend going on. Well, I'm hopping on the trend. I am. I'm getting ready to learn all that I need to know about tubing and having my YouTube channel. Now, I didn't do a thumbnail just now. Number 1. Number 2, this is unscripted. And I'm going to be honest with you. Well, what I'm going to do now is I need to check my analytics because I was looking, and I'm going to be really honest with you. Now, that's the thing. When we're learning, it's best to learn it in and out, like the settings of what that type thing. Just the whole arena of YouTube. We need to learn that. I'll put it that way. Now, I want to say my subscribers are going up just within a couple days, and my viewers, like, I looked at that and I was like, wait, how did I get from that number in 2 days to that number? And so I'm watching that too. So for me, it's learning. It's truly learning, and I'm really grateful because I believe that anyone who gets called to YouTube, it's an honor. It's an honor to be called to YouTube. And see, for many of us, we weren't just called to YouTube, we were chosen for YouTube. Now, it's really important that you all align yourself up. If you were called to YouTube, learn the ins and outs. Learn the do's and the don'ts. Learn what it takes to be a successful YouTuber. And I also want to share this. If God be for you, he's more than the world against you. If he called you to YouTube, you will succeed. Now, yeah, there may be sometimes nicks and, little setbacks here and there, and you may get derailed. You may get a little distracted sometime. But if you stay focused, the goal is to stay focused and allow God to navigate us through this YouTube world. We will be all right, okay? We will be just fine. Because we have to trust. We have to trust whatever God has given us. We have to trust it. We have to trust. If he called you to YouTube, then that's where you need to be. You need to be on YouTube. If that's where he called you, that's where you need to be. Now, again, we have to get out of our feelings. We have to get out of ourselves, and we have to allow God. Let God in on your YouTube journey. Let him in on your YouTube journey. If it takes for you all to not only do your research, but you want to have the right spirit when you come on YouTube. Again, don't worry about what people say. Don't worry about what they think. Don't worry about their opinions. What matters is you getting on here and showing up. You getting on here and come out of your shell, because somebody needs to hear your message. There's a message in you starting your YouTube channel. There's a purpose. This world needs you. This world needs us. You're a gift. And God has designed this platform for many of you. And many of you need to come out of your shell and just get started. Get started and push the button. Push the button. Get started. You only have yourself that's holding you back. No one's holding you back. You don't need fancy cameras. You can start with your phone. 4K 60, I see, for many they say you don't really even need all of that. But all in all, get started. Get started. You're the only one who's holding yourself back. Get started. The world needs you. The world is waiting on you. You have a message. And I'm going to say this too. See, God has given us many gifts and talents. And he's also given us purpose, right? With having those gifts and talents, it's not just for us. It's not just for us. And people are looking for people that they could connect with. And not everyone is going to be your audience. Not everyone is going to be rooting for you. Not everyone is going to be your supporter here on YouTube. And that's okay. They're not meant to be your supporters. Not everyone is meant to be your community. But God will bring you to the people that will resonate with you. He will bring you to the people who will connect with you. He will bring you to the people that's your community. And those are the ones who count. Those are the ones who matter. It doesn't matter about the naysayers. If they want to be naysayers, let them be naysayers. You have a purpose, and you're going to continue to stay driven because God is orchestrating you. He's ordering your steps. And you won't fail. You won't fail. You won't fail. We might get knocked down. But the ultimate goal is to succeed, is to get back up and get in there again. Every time you get knocked down, get back up, wipe yourself off and get back up and start all over again. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take determination. It's going to take drive to start this YouTube channel. It's going to take consistency as well. We're going to need to continue to show up for people. And people want to see the real you. They want to be able to see people they could connect with. Not the polished up you, but the real you. Let the real you show that's been hitting back. See, even me, I would even say back to a time where when I was in school, when I was in school, I was the person that says, I was always, I didn't care. I'll sit in the back. and the teacher, don't call on me. Nope, I don't even want to be called on. I was always the one who wanted to sit in back. I did not want to be on Front Street. I always hid in the back, was hoping that the teacher never called me. But some way, somehow, they called on me. And at that time, I know God was, looking back now, I know God was using a lot of those areas in my life where I was apprehensive about, or I felt some kind of way, he used those things. He used those very things to make me. And God will use those very things to make you break through the barriers, break through the chains and the bondage that some of us have placed our own self in, not just people, but because of our fear and because of our doubt and because of what people say, we allow people to say about us, and we allow people to think about us. We allowed their projection and their deflection to represent who we are. But if we allow some of those things to stop us from starting this YouTube channel, it's time to break free. Your freedom is today. Break out of your break free today. Today is your day. Today is the day to start your YouTube channel. All right, everyone. You all take care. Till next time, I will be bringing it again. Letting you all know about my journey with YouTube. And if this has resonated with you all, I'm so grateful and thankful that it has. You all take care till next time. Peace be multiplied.